So I'm making something I've never made before. We can't find a better name for it. The best name we found for what they're actually called are Viking turtle brooches. And what it is a lady wears two, and I'll put a pin on it, and they pin on, and then they'll have chains or beads depending on their wealth, draped between. So I'm going to drape beads between mine because I like doing bead stuff. And so I had some flat copper stock that I traded. I traded a guy down the road. I made him a drum, and it was just fun making a drum, and it sounded really good too. It was kind of a hard drum to give up, but made him a drum, and then traded him for, I got a bunch of copper stuff for the deal, and he provided the log and did all of his own hollowing and stuff. I just had to tune it up and then get the hide stretched right for the drum. So it was a good deal for me to get some copper sheets and stuff, and wire and some brass tubing and different things. I don't know a lot about copper smithing, copper tinkering, anything like that. I got to at a show a couple years ago. I got to meet a guy that is just amazing at it, and at some point in time maybe I'll pull out something he made for me. And but he's done quite a bit of little work for me at a couple little shows, and I think he's pretty much big time now. I don't know if I'll ever get to see him again. I hope, because he's a really neat fella. Definitely runs in a more rarefied strata than I do. So anyhow, what I'm doing is I've cut out of the flat stock and I've cut my ovals. Draco turned the grinder for me, and we cleaned them up and buffed them, turtle shell shaped. Then we heated them up till they started flashing rainbow, and then I'm rounding them out to make it more. I don't know if you can see. I've cupped it out. This one's just about done. I'm using one of my little hammers. At least Brenda's not here right now to go, "Ooh, look at the little hammers, they're so cute." I'm sure she will at some point today when she comes in here. But so anyway, so I'll get that to that point, and I want to do a little more rounding out. I got a flat spot in the middle, and then I'll buff it up, we'll polish it up, I'll heat it again, and we'll run in. I don't know if I'll put a hole in the bottom or if I will solder a little loop to the bottom. Maybe a little loop to the bottom soldered, and then a pin to the top, and then there's no holes in it then. There's ones that are there, people I'm sure with way more skill than me, or if I built if I wanted to mass produce these, which I don't know that I want to do that as yet, I could cut a hardwood shaping post, and then I could shape them faster, and then also be able to then inlay stuff. But I think these here I want to kind of leave them with their natural color, their natural how it comes out, and just light hammering marks. And I guess Brenda has a point. One of the things that's kind of neat about all the jeweling and jewelry making and all the copper smithing and things like that is all the teeny tiny little stuff, and there's smaller, finer anvils than that. I haven't had a chance to get any yet. All my stuff I have to acquire either really cheap, or scrounge, or whatever. Find somebody that doesn't want it anymore, make them a deal for it. But anyway, so that's so far where I'm coming with that one. I'm just about ready to say no touchy anymore on that one, except for flattening it out a little bit more. But yeah, if I had a mold for it to go onto, or a forming stake, then I could get the nice little hammer blows on the outside, not just on the inside. But anyhow, these will be neat. My first time I've ever made them. Hopefully they come out pretty good. I'm pretty happy so far with them, and it's a good project to work on a intermittent bad weather today here in the TP. Draco's reading the funny pages, turning the crank when I need it otherwise. And I got another little project we're going to work on for that. So I'm really just trying to get back to my, my tranquility with this, and this is a good place to start with that. Nice and challenging, and everything. So that's just about there. I think we're going to have to call that one good here, and and accept any flaws that are in it. But so I get 2 of them. You know, this one's rounded, and then in front of the necklace. I don't know that I'm going to. A lot of times I give the first one anything I make away. I think maybe this time maybe we'll put it up as a special for people following a year under canvas. So we'll see. I haven't decided what I'm doing. The second one here, a little flat one, and I'm going around the edge first and starting to create the curl. I gotta admit, I got a lot of little naysayers going on in my head. That there's undoubtedly someone who will see some of this and go, well, that's not the right way, and blah blah blah. And it's, well, I'm happy with what I made, actually, and I'm not often happy with what I do. I think it has a lot to do with, you know, having lived in a hypercritical environment for a really long time, and the world itself has turned into a collection of, you know, hypercritical, everybody's opinion is as good as anybody else's thing, and instead of letting art just flow freely. And so this project ought to be a really good reminder for me of how to get comfortable with myself again, and like how to not really care about those things. But as you can see, it's starting to not be flat. And so I keep working around that edge, and I bring the little ball peen out to the edge and keep spooning this piece, so to speak. So it reminds me, it was like I cut the bowls off of spoons, which would probably be a really good cheater way to make those turtle brooch things. Just cut the handles off of spoons, buff them out, and solder on a clip or something. But that's not how I want to do it. So this little hammer, a friend of mine gave me. I've got another little partner like it. This one, my friend Dan found in a thrift store in Oregon on one of our trips for me. You know, where we find the little things. An antique store's going out of business, so I got this antique German, you know, drill, and I've got small stuff, old stuff. But if you're wondering why do I have yellow tape around most of my stuff, I do a lot of things where other smiths or other workers are demonstrating their trade craft, and so the hammers, you know, we're all working around the same forges, we're all working in the same area, and so to keep from my stuff getting mixed up with anybody else's stuff, I figured the easiest thing for me to do would be to yellow tape everything. And actually people have thought that's a pretty good idea, and they started doing a similar thing to their tools. It's not so much even that guys don't know their own tools, it's if someone else is helping, you know, you have a helper or a spouse or a kid or whatever getting stuff, and you know, they don't necessarily know your tools as well as you, so it's not necessarily something that's needed for you know, the guy themselves, but it's definitely something that I think works overall conceptually. So I'm getting this one almost where I want it. It doesn't take a real long time, but all my work's really rough anyway. You know, it's certainly nothing on a fine art level, but you know, I do like to think that if I had a time machine, some of the stuff I make and I took it back, it might do okay. Because I'm not using modern stuff anyway. I'm, you know, kind of using older stuff. So I've got a little farther to bowl this one out, but it's coming along just fine. And I think that these are going to be, pretty to have them made out of copper. So we'll finish up this bowl and see where that takes us. And we're just about there. So I got these, this first time I've ever made turtle shell brooch Viking thing. Been seeing a lot of Viking reenactment pictures and see these on the ladies, one on each kind of each side of the chest, and then a string or a chain, a string of beads or a chain goes through from there to there to each side. I'm working on the pen for the back that'll go like that, so it can pin into the jumper, the front part of the dress. So I'm starting with some copper wire, and I'm making that shape. So just about done with the first one. I got to do the second one now. So I got to use the fire and heat those up to color, and then quench them to soften them. So these, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to polish them up, or if I want to leave them with that fire patina on them. I soldered on the little loops of wire to hold on the bottom, copper. So these will be 100% copper except for the solder. They're not bad. They inspired me to make, typically they're oval or turtle shell shaped like this, and so it inspired me, maybe I'll make some, if I can get some small turtle shells somewhere, I'll make some out of turtle shells, and then maybe I'll make some out of seashells, and then maybe I will make some different shapes in turtle shells too. Had an idea for some of those. It's not real labor intensive, it's not too bad. There's quite a bit of time though so far. One of those things, this is obviously not the greatest work in the world, but I mean, I don't think too bad. I think it looks neat. It's just a matter of whether or not people will enjoy them, both as gifts and prizes, and also as something that they're willing to compensate me for a little bit. I have real trouble with money. I don't like selling my art. I one time gave away my whole booth at a show, just to brighten everybody's day, and that's just not cost effective, and I know that, and I get that. But it's always weird for me to try to figure out what to charge for stuff and to even sell it in the first place. I'd rather just give it to people and they'd be happy. But they don't give me milk at the store, so I gotta figure something out with that. But so I'm ready on to my next step now. So that's my odds and ends box. Teacher's Highland Cream. So old wooden box. This is some old sort of like typing desk or something from back in the day. We got it in a salvage deal, so that made a good little tinker table. Hand crank grinder of mine. Some this and that. A hand crank grinder just got donated. Little vise and stuff. So anyway, I got the 2 backing pins for the turtle brooches done. A little thicker than I would have liked, but I think they came out okay. So then now I have to mount them on the back of these. I'm going to go ahead and solder. I think, looking back now, I think I would rather have riveted them on for authenticity's sake. Same thing for the loops in the bottom. I ran just wires through holes. But I'm going to go with the solder, and I think for this one, and be emotionally okay with that, as I think they're going to look pretty awesome. Still, I'm actually pretty happy with how I'm spending my day, so that's good. I got a long way to go before I get back to the happiness I had 4 or 5 days ago. I'm more back to the point of having a good day, how I used to have a good day. A good day, feeling okay, but an underlying tension and still some anger threading through. So I'm gonna keep working on gaining back the tranquility lost, and I'm going to keep doing more to get my happiness going. These should be pretty neat. Hi, Polly.
Hi, Daddy.
So yeah, so these will mount in the back here. I guess it's really hard to do with the camera in your hand, but they'll mount back there like that, and then they can settle down into a wool jumper, pin through a cloak or a blanket or whatever. So pretty neat, I think. Hi, Polly.
Hi, Daddy.
She's eating a yogurt thing. And hanging out with me today is a guy we haven't introduced yet, member of the family. This is Buddy. His real name's Toulouse. He also is known as Boudreaux. But he's Buddy, and he's a pretty awesome little guy. He's hangs out with Draco a lot. So he's hanging out in the teepee today. We're trying to watch him, make sure he doesn't eat Draco's lunch. Draco in between helping me out. See if you guys can recognize that comic strip right there. and it's very interesting. Draco likes Charlie Brown, and he likes Calvin and Hobbes when it comes time for him to read comics, and I always thought interesting connection there for our friend Buddy. I got him finally assembled. Let me actually shoot what I'm holding. Got the pin on the back, got the loop to mount the chains or beads on, and so yeah, I even did the mirror image twists. I didn't mess that up. So yeah, starting from bits of wire and copper sheeting, I made my first ever turtle brooches. I think I'm going to leave that fire patina on them. I kind of like that. Somebody may disagree with me, but they can polish their own if they want. And then I'll fire patina some hand-hammered copper, antique copper beads I have too. I think I'll use that as part of this. I know just some of the beads I'm going to use. I'm going to have a mix of glass and stone. I've got these beads I've been saving, so I think I'm going to be utilizing those. But I tell you what, I really think that this may be something I'm going to be interested in auctioning off on the Facebook page. So we shall see. We shall see. But I'm feeling a win here, and that's nice to feel a win. So certainly nowhere near the little bit I know about coppersmithing. The man that taught me that stuff, Niles Famey, Tattooed Tinker Studio, if you want to look him up, he's phenomenal. This probably would look like crayon drawings to him, but for me, crayon drawings are good, and I think they're going to look pretty nice for someone to wear on their wagon. And brought a bunch of her bead stuff down to do beads while I'm doing beads for these turtle brooches here. Hi, Joan.
Hi.
You in a better mood?
Mm-hmm.
You less grumpy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, Joan's funny. Once you get her going, she does pretty good. So she's trying to have wooden boxes and period bowls and stuff like I do, but she's still got a little bit of Tupperware. But it all works. So I'm starting to assemble what I want to do for these turtle brooches, and I have a bowl full of findings, and you know, I was looking at the commercial findings and they're okay, but then I felt kind of weird just using them after I went to all these trouble to make these you know, one of a kind handmade, you know, hand-smithed brooches. So I decided to anneal some wire and start making my own findings. So I've got one more loop to make. They're not coming out too bad. Not as nice as the factory ones, of course, but I got some pretty good consistency. Joni's rummaging through her pretty beads. So one more of these little guys to make, and then I'll start attaching and assembling. I made my findings here, my ring and my 3 loops. So I'm going to have 3 T's coming from a strand on the other side. So I'm going to make another big ring for the other side, for this one, and then put 3 smaller connector rings to it, and then on the end of the strings I will do a connector ring and those T's. So I'm going to use hemp string, I decided. I was going to think about using artificial sinew, but then again I came back to I'd kind of like to just keep on the trend I'm going on with this. So thought about using some chain, but all I have is modern chain, and I don't feel like making chain. That would just be forever being here doing that, so I'm not quite ready for that, but we'll see what I can make come out with this. So I got my connector rings all mounted on those, and I got my toggles all finished up with little rings. So I'm cutting my string now, and I'll start deciding what I want to do with these. This is day, I think, 11. I've been working on this Viking necklace, and yeah, I'm wearing a girl's necklace, whatever. It was easier for me to try to display it and work on it this way. So I made these Viking turtle brooches. Haven't found a better name for them than that. I'm sure there is a better historical name. That seems to be the common historical name. Hammered those out. We had tape of that earlier. And then I've got an assortment of vintage and antique and primitive beads here. Very simple trade beads, some antique copper rounds and such. The findings over here, if I can, let's see if I can drive this thing right. All the little findings of connectors, I did all that wire work myself. So all these will unhook, and so a person could unhook them and let them drape. So you could use it as a cloak thing theoretically. There's probably all kinds of different things I could have done differently that would have been better. But this is okay. I've got it tied on hemp string for now. I'm going to leave it like that. I've got a really neat, really old teardrop, hand-wound teardrop down here. Very deep green color and cold spun. Really neat. And there's some really neat this and that's in this piece. So I'm going to take some other shots of it here, and I'm going to get my phone and post this thing up on the Facebook page faster. Joni's been out here helping. Hi, Joni.
Hi.
So anyway, this felt pretty good to make. I am finding myself today on the road back to where I was 4 or 5 days ago, but definitely not back there yet. Harboring a lot of tension and anger still inside. I find it way too easy to snap. I am coming out of it easier and easier as the day progresses. So I'm getting a lot of those things that were really preying on my mind settled again, which is nice. We just went through another series of high winds. We've had wave after wave of little dustings of snow. It's not going to amount to anything down here in Delta, but it'll be nice up on the mountains. So in a few weeks we got that primitive winter trek. So hand hammered turtle, Viking turtle brooch, hand hammered findings there, all the rings, hand hammered pins for these, and a whole bunch of old and whatnot handmade beads, several different varieties there, but overall pretty nice setup. I'm gonna try one more run of my first ever Viking turtle brooch and bead drape. So I think that's neat. I left the fire markings on the copper, and I did all the findings myself instead of using my store-bought ones. Hemp string and old vintage and some antique, some really nice old stuff in there. So there you go.